ImagineNATIVE! That's it! Too bad I can't see you all. I wonder if you're really fancy. Like you're usually really fancy. When we're, ImagineNATIVE. I mean, everybody's just being themselves and just being cool and wow. Wow. What a film festival that's turned into. That's just great. I'm so proud of you guys. I really, really am. And so to be asked to bring a statement, and it's really, really thrilling. And it was a challenge, a real challenge, to figure out, okay, wow, out of all that. So, well, the upshot is we're diverse. We've evolved through change and diversity. 1950, North Country, when there was snow in the winter and lush berries in the summer. We snared rabbits and caught fish and got moose and picked berries and pickled beets and hoed our gardens, sacked our potatoes and got some groceries off the train from Alberta Trading Post. All the families along the railroad line got their groceries from them. To get our movies, we'd have to take the train to Fort McMurray. And I'd watch the movie while Mom would go to her social, to the bar with her friends. Usually my aunt would come pick me up after the movie. Or sometimes the Forestry Service would pull a caboose onto the sidetrack in Anzac and leave it there for a couple of days. And we would watch cartoons, some fire prevention films, of course, and a feature. That was the best. The total community, the whole community, no one missed that. So we lived in a community where everyone, absolutely everyone, had seen the same cartoon or movie that you did. It was seamless. We had language, Cree, Dene, Métis, English, mix. And that was our greeting. Our greeting was Tantoo Cardinal. What do you think? And stories and stories about people and events. There's no telephones here. No telephones. No medium, no nothing. We had radio. Yeah, we had radio. We had forestry radio, and we had AM/FM. And okay, our greeting was Tantoo Cardinal. What do you think? And stories about people and events. Some people were news carriers, and some had the old stories, very entertaining. Some were kind of mysterious, from the old world. Some were the gossips, usually looking around for something, scavenging for information, keeping their likes up, Our worlds had been splintered, however. I was being raised by my grandparents, who then split up when I was 10. And my brother came to live with us when I was about 8, because we'd lost a baby sister to adoption that year. So my brother was 2 and our sister was gone, so my aunt got on the train and went to Edmonton and busted Butch out of the foster home. So, but then right after that, all the adults left, Aunt was gone, everybody was gone. So they're all gone. So family surround was short-lived. Stories dwindled. Spare, rare, old worlds were not coming by. Language is disappearing, creating some distance between generations. Then in about 1962, the dorm kids moved in. Mennonite community came to town. There were our teachers and stuff. And along with that, they were overseers and caretakers of a dormitory where kids from all down the line came to Anzac for school. They had a long weekend every two weeks. And they came piling off the train in full Cree. Oh my God. Oh, it was so exciting. Oh, they made it sound like so much fun. And so I started trying to speak it because Mom would never let me speak it, but she spoke Cree to me because she felt more comfortable in Cree most of the time. And sometimes she'd swing some English. A lot. She knew quite a lot of English, really. And then she would speak Dene when different relatives would come. And Granny Hilliard, she was kind of proud that she speaks in German. And everybody had their own little swing of English. Oh, just rich, because it would be full of another language, eh? And so the dorm community had Friday nights activities for the kids, and us from town, and us from the community would go over there, and they'd be putting on skits and all kinds of entertainment for a little bush community there where sheet is your curtain, and perfect for shadow making stories and pranks, and we started showing movies again in their gym. One of the Air Force guys put movies on, and sure enough, somebody got into making some popcorn. We're getting real civilized there for a while, and the Air Force wives got together, put on a variety show, lip syncing to Teresa Brewer, complete with wardrobe and gramophone and original skits about life and characters in Anzac from their perspective, the white ladies. And they would talk about what they would see out their window, and there was Mom and her friends going down to Joe Cardinal's place to go play poker, eh? And then they were doing little skits about what was in their imagination. And they imagined they were going to get dressed up and go down to Joe Cardinal's poker joint too, and they were trying to figure out what to wear. And it was so much fun. It was so much fun. But of course somebody went and got mad, and they got busted, I think. But so when I left for the big city of Edmonton in 1965, I was armed with much experience in the arts. I saw people making beautiful things with their hands all my life. I seen houses built out of logs, some with real sawed lumber. I saw people teach themselves how to play a musical instrument. I saw someone drive a car for the very first time in their life. I saw generations being fed off the land and the adeptness with mixing influences in a good and balanced way. I saw community come together when needed. I saw an independent society begin to crumble and get lost under the hordes. When I left for the big city in 1965 for high school, that was the last time the passenger train operated. It soon became a freight train to get mining goods and equipment up to Fort McMurray. And I was equipped with a torso full of hearts, looking for a place to land and love and laugh. My mother would visit me once in a while in the city when she had a boyfriend with a car. She never came to see me drunk. Sometimes she'd be nipping though. And my mother was from what some called the lost generation. The church, government, and big business, they can take a hit for that. Although at the time it was considered our own fault that we couldn't pull ourselves up by the bootstraps. Our stats were the worst in violence and incarcerations and alcohol and substance abuse, sexual abuse, homelessness, dropouts, teenage pregnancies, unemployment, missing. We had to break the wall down. All across the land, many hearts and minds found ways to drag the truth out into the open. And with each success, with each of those stories coming forward, there became space for more questions and interpretations. The stories matured. It has taken generations to get to where we are now. When I first got to the city, it was dismal. There was no positive visuals of us anywhere. No posters, certainly no movies or TV to brighten our souls. No faces I recognized. That changed as migration to the cities became common. We just lost one of our matriarchs recently in Alberta, Nellie. She died at the age of 94. I mention her and her generation because they put in a hard row. Right out of the generations that took so many, here they came. They're graceful but staunchly resistant of colonial behavior. Nellie Carlson and her sisters at the Voice of Alberta Native Women's Society. They told us a story of who we are as women in a society. They waded through that thick sledge of bigotry, sexism, assaults, and all categories. Before PC was a buzzword, that was the wild frontier, where men were men and women did what they were told. That takes a little work. Hands up to the aunties, moms, and grandmothers who showed responsibilities to our path as women in society. By their work, they were vital to the people. They opened us up to larger societies by their activism. Whether it was affordable housing or education reform, it might well have been housed in that Canadian Native Friendship Centre that they're heavily involved in. The community was just humming with movement. And it seems like it was a constant fight to get treaties honored. Or, if somehow these smart people couldn't quite understand it quite right, the communication issues. Anyway. And Métis, trying to claim position as original nation status, Harry Daniels got that. And while Nunavut is Inuit territory, each change in our worlds brings change as a ripple. With each ripple came more space for artistic expression, more space to tell more stories, a slow growth and expanse of image and content. It was still primarily male-focused, and that where it came from is a paternalistic society, embedded into everyone's head and way of going. It's taking some work to sort that out, And our projects were primarily contracts with outer society. So the crawl to stories about our people was real. And the crawl to the idea of women being vibrant and crucial in our society was even harder row to hoe. Any role with responsibility to plot, obviously, had to be cast as a man. And they weren't trusting us with their money either. my choice to come through as an actor has been a marvelous life appreciating experience. First, I had to talk myself into the idea that it was my true position to be here and to be able to participate in something that I love, to feel like I'm doing my part to move things forward in the spot on my circle, to the spot, forward in my spot on the circle. Even though everything and everyone I loved had been swiftly taken from me in those formative years before the city, if I allow myself to love and accept this, will it be taken away as well? Will it be short-lived? Never mind, giver. These are times of great change. Have faith and a sneak up for those who don't believe it can be done, who don't see that we're making progress. You know, they don't see us coming, and all of a sudden, oh. Yeah. I expected change to come a lot sooner than it has, because at the time I thought we could be doing comedy right quick. Wow. Did I ever find out how far behind we were in their minds as a contributor to this creation? Anyway, kind of figure maybe we were on the verge of being despised, but certainly disregarded in this societal creation we're demanded to live in. Or how maligned this society was with misinformation. Everybody's being taken to the cleaners by Big Biz. Our way was definitely not the way. Huge expectation that we would fall in line, shut up, say thank you. So it was a slow, patient process to make suggestions. I knew nothing about their craft of making a movie or a TV show or anything that required this 20-man race with 5 women nobody ever saw to make a moving picture. I was learning from them, and those that allowed themselves to learn from what I could glean from the hidden forest of information. It was a formation. I'd find the individuals who had a good sense of why it was important to tell as much of our story as the moment allowed. I know it would have been much easier and quicker if I'd have gone to school to learn how to write, but I was busy digging up bones and gems. I'd not have been able to take advantage of the moment when culture and spirituality were making their entrance into the new society. Besides, I've been told I was stupid most of my life, and that's an obstruction, you know. It would take a while to get rid of that self-stigma. Besides, I had no trust. I would not allow myself to be a specimen in an institute where everyone I had associated with was convinced I had to learn to be more like them, to do things like they did to succeed. Yes, it depends on what you wanted to succeed at. I had a bone to pick. I wasn't going to subject myself into any more colonialism. I would learn as it went. Small commitments. Whoa, talk about shell shock, eh? Yeah, shrapnel. Yeah. But that was the time before our writers' works were being published. Before our historians were known, and a relatively short while just after the vote was allowed, dangerous territory for someone trying to get to the truth of situations. I thought I just really wanted to stay away from that world of academics, but I have enormous respect for the people who did go that way, who walked into that world of academics, braved the danger, changing it as they went. Thank you very much. There's a lot of things going on in universities now that weren't going on at that time. Amazing work. Yeah. Meanwhile, somewhere across the country, I heard there was a woman playing her drum, telling her stories and singing. Bush lady, Alani so bombs win. Before she started making documentary films. And Gordon Tatusas was making a movie in Saskatchewan, Almighty Voice. My first foray out of the Communication Society films, industrial films, was CBC, doing a docudrama on Father Lacombe. Harry Daniels was in that. And Willie Dunn did our first music video, Crowfoot, Buckley Petawabano, and Rainbow Country TV series, and Johnny Yes No. And Johnny had a national weekly news and chat show on CBC all across the country. Today, we have a national television station, and another one on the way, I hear. A few Oscars, Buffy, Wes, Taika. We have plays, television series, movies, operas, shorts, podcasts, comic books, documentaries, filmmakers of every ilk, our youth. I was listening to some young filmmakers on Zoom, techniques they're after, and genre, artistic and knowledgeable and enthused about their concept and how to present it. That's how far we've gotten. Through the generations, doing our own stories, mostly our own crews, in our territories. We have breached the wall in so many places. Now we're celebrating imagineNATIVE's 21st year in existence. This is Industry Day at imagineNATIVE. All you industrious, Indigenous filmmakers. 21 years of steady progress, inspiration, truth forging, skill building, influencing overall vision of who we are and have always been. We're coming through interesting times. Many doors and windows are open. It's practically a swarm of demanding artists awakening the world. So many have a hand and a prayer into this moment, in this amazing landscape of inspiration and opportunities. We are in the midst of a deep prayer laid down by our ancestors into their 7th generation. This smart, determined, informed, supported generation of learned skill and the clear eyes of how, where, why, and who made this mess. And what is life? What is life now? If anyone can figure out the COVID stomp, it's got to be us. Change is our first name. Believe in your vision. It believes in you. Thank you for this time with you. I hope you enjoyed the stories, and I hope it reminds you of yours and your journey and your story of the artistic flow, artistic expression, and all the influences that you had. That'd be great to hear all the stories. It's a wonderful world that you have chosen to be part of, and it's very important. It's very connected to the flows and the forces, and those are the forces that are bigger than all of us. bigger than all of the fuss and the muss and what we've got to get through. We've got to figure it out. We got to be those ingenious engines we've always had to be. Right? Tsika no ma.